Welcome back, everybody, to the 1-Up Superstar Series in 2023. We are here at the Chicagoland Speedway for race number 22 of the 2023 season. And this is going to be a fantastic one, I can tell. This mile-and-a-half track is full of passing opportunities, unlike what we saw at Bristol last time. And should be a fun one, and there's no doubt in my mind about that. And alongside me to bring you all the action for the second week in a row is Ryan Griffin with you. And, well, this is going to be a fun race. I don't know what more to say about it. Chicagoland always brings the action, and with these superstar cars, we expect that to be turned up to 11.
Yeah, mile-and-a-half tracks tend to give you some unique action, fun racing if we can get a second groove, which we'll see what we get here. But you know, Chicagoland has been a track that we've had fun races on in the past that we've seen, and Chicagoland itself, I personally, as the driver, Chicagoland's a fun racetrack. So we'll see what the superstar guys give us tonight.
Yep, and this is the second race of the playoffs, so the intensity is going to pick up with each lap as this race unfolds. As we can now bring you the starting lineup now, for the first time in 1-Up Superstar history, a Fitzwater Australia racing car has taken pole position, that being the number 9 of rookie James Silverfox gets his first career pole. In the process, he's got Bobo Jones alongside him. The first playoff driver in the lineup is Dylan Young in 4th, and he needs a good run here today because he's 15th and last of the playoff drivers after Bristol. He needs something good to happen to get his championship hopes back on track.
Yeah, especially after Bristol, and unfortunately having the incident that he did there. And what's going to be interesting for me to watch here is, as dominant as he was at Bristol, is to see Fair come. He's starting from the 11th position tonight. See if he can come from that position and see if he can try to back up the momentum from the run he had a week ago.
Will definitely be interesting to see if he can pull off back-to-back wins for the first time in his career. So with that being said, we have all 42 cars ready to take the green flag, and we're ready to bring you the action. For race number 22 of the season, this is the 1-Up Superstar Series playoffs from Chicagoland Speedway, and the green flag is mere moments away from dropping once again. With two Dodges on the front row, Silverfox and Jones on the front row, getting ready to take us to the green flag. They're in the restart zone now. The green flag is out and in the air. We're underway at Chicagoland, and Silverfox gets a great start off the line. Ricky Freeman Jr. is the first one to jump out of line. And Mark Davey now trying to make a move on J.D. Martin for this inside line, starting to take off in the first couple of corners. It probably will not stay that way for long as they head down the backstretch.
Yeah, already you got Bobo Jones still looking to the outside of Martin. Looks like he's going to retake that position that looked like Martin had kind of taken there on the initial start. Here comes Young working the top lane now on Martin, trying to take that third position as they come back to the line. I think he might get it as Silverfox leads the first lap.
And that is the first lap he has ever led in 1-Up competition. James Silverfox leads the first lap from pole. But behind him, it is a hornet's nest, side by side, pretty much everywhere except for the top 7 or so, as Dylan Young does get past the 66 of J.D. Martin. And now he's trying to thread the needle, dives to the inside of Bobo Jones. This is for second spot.
Yeah, it seems like Young fired off really good here because I think he's going to get the second position as they come to the line. And he's going to take it over, so move Young into second. Now we're probably going to be 3 wide here for third with Martin and Freeman Jr. and Jones. Looks like Jones using the top lane may maintain it, but Martin going to use that middle lane, try to hang with him.
But for now, it continues to be engine number 9 leading the field. James Silverfox has only a couple of starts under his belt, but he's put them to good use, and he's leading for the first time in his career here at Chicagoland. We've completed 3 laps of this race. We're on lap number 4. Silverfox has led them all. But Dylan Young is not, I would not count him out yet. He is just waiting patiently, trying to make sure he doesn't wreck the car, trying to get the lead. But now we look back at the second playoff car in the field, Jake McMillan, who also had a bit of a rough outing at Bristol. He's trying to make up some lost ground as he battles Martin, Freeman, and Finn Guy.
Yeah, I was just going to point out there behind Freeman, Finn Guy, and I believe that's 54 Vargas that are coming up through there. They're starting to make a little bit of ground, too. Finn Guy started P10. He's up to P7 at the moment. Or was P7 at the line as he battles Freeman, I think, for P6. And then Vargas is another one. Vargas started P12 and is starting to work his way up there. So We saw Young with his little advancement, so his teammate and team owner in the 92 is trying to come up there, as well as obviously the defending series champion trying to make his way. Didn't have a great outing at the first race at Bristol, so he's going to try to make up some ground here.
Looking further back, you see Mark Davey, who started 5th in this race. He's fallen back a little bit. He battles Ben McDonald and Lane Sanders for that 10th position, as Nick Ortiz now dices it up with the defending champ for 8th spot. And you can see the top 4 are starting to pull away a little bit from the rest of the field. They're in a nice line. They're not pushing the issue at this point. It's just a matter of wait and see, because we had a lot of trouble in the national race pretty early on with cars taking runs that weren't there. So it's going to be interesting to see how these elite drivers behave themselves.
I wouldn't necessarily say that those top 4 are pulled away quite yet, because you do have this 21 of McMillan and the 92 of Finn guy that are kind of trying to stay latched. And again, here comes Young. He took a peek there on Silver Fox for the lead, but not quite up alongside of him, as he's going to try to get a run here down around the front straightaway, and here try to make a move again down as we get to the corner. But again, what it appears that we've seen from the lines we've seen here is it appears that the middle lane seems to be the strongest lane as you go and as we go. So we'll have to see if that maintains itself, as Jones is taking 3rd, but it looks like McMillan has caught the number 21, or has caught the 66, excuse me, for this. The 21 catches the 66 there for the 4th position. So McMillan and Finn guy try to follow that 21 up through there. I think, McMillan just took over 4th.
So make that 3 playoff cars in the top 6 positions. And it's actually an alternating pattern of non-playoff drivers leading playoff drivers for the first 6 spots. But Dylan Young, we know he's a good driver. We saw him win several races and contend for championships in the Nitro National Series. He had an amazing start to the 2023 season here in the Superstar Series, but he had a bit of a lull period in the middle of the season where he just wasn't putting results together. This is the kind of run he needs, a run near the front of the field where he can showcase what he can do, because this team, remember, is going to 3 cars next year. He better perform at the right time.
And the other thing is as I mentioned before, you don't necessarily want to stumble your way into the playoffs. And Young, of course, had the incident at Bristol a week ago that kind of, I guess you could say, didn't help his initial playoff shot, as he's going to be looking for the lead. I don't think he's going to, not really in the preferred lane here, so I think he's going to lose a little ground to Silver Fox. The battle is for 3rd, because here comes that 21 of McMillan, and he is steaming right now.
Absolutely.
Started 8th, and
yeah, this 21 is a rocket ship. He's forcing his way around, but I think he's going to get held up behind the 29 as Bobo Jones and J.D. Martin try and power their way around the outside. Jones slips to 2nd, Martin up to 3rd. That knocks the 29 and the 21 back a few pegs. But McMillan now tries to make it 3 wide for the 3rd position with Martin and Young. So a lot of tough racing action here in the opening few laps.
I mean, these basically from 2nd to 4th have kind of diced it up a little bit, because we've seen Martin now back up to 3rd, now trying to take the 2nd position from Jones. He started 3rd. My bad. I thought he started 2nd. I had to relook at that. But, he started 3rd. He's trying to take 2nd from Jones. And again, Young lost a couple spots through that whole battle when he was trying to get around the when he was trying to get up there to Silver Fox to get the move he made to try to get the lead. Suddenly here he is battling now for 4th, as McMillan is going to go around him there for that 4th position.
And now his teammates catching him too.
Yeah, like I say, and that's drawn Young's teammate Finn guy into this battle. That's drawn Ortiz into this battle, and the defending series champion Vargas into this battle as well.
Yeah, the top 12 have pretty much distanced themselves from the rest of the field now, as Martin took a dive for the lead on Silver Fox. Doesn't look like it worked. It's going to be very tough to make a pass on the inside. I think the only 2 cars I've seen make solid moves on the inside is Dylan Young once and Jake McMillan, who's done it consistently.
As we see, the Jones is going to slide into 3rd. He's going to try to look. It seems like they can't seem to get that great a run. They go look going into 1, but they can't seem to carry the momentum versus the outside into 1. And that's why it appears that the outside appears to be the lane, as McMillan, I think, is going to take Jones here for 3rd. You're in that upper lane. He does. And look at Finn guy right behind him, basically following in his tire tracks. Looks like he's going to take that 4th position, because McMillan is going to have a look here on Martin down the front straightaway for 2nd.
Yeah, McMillan's the one car I've seen make consistent moves on the inside and make them stick. So, and he's doing it quite well against the 66 here. I think this 21 could be a real contender here if he can get to the lead. But that 9 car, I'm impressed with how long he stayed up front today. He's done a fantastic job keeping the lead. And because for his first time leading a one-up race of any kind, he's doing a quite the nice job of keeping it and keeping them quite at arm's length as well. Oh, and we've got. Oh, and I hate to interrupt you, but we've got caution on the Speedway for the first time today. Oh, and it's for a big crash in turns 3 and 4, and it's Sam Denotto, one of our playoff contenders. We've got several cars in the grass here on the front straightaway, so caution will fly for the first time today here on lap 17 for a hefty crash involving the 77 of Sam Denotto, and that is most certainly going to end his race right there.
Yeah, you kind of interrupted in the middle of it, but I was getting ready to say is, as much as you're looking at McMillan, that 92 of Finn guy was really starting to come up, as well as the 91 of Ortiz. The Fords were starting to show up now, but yeah, big accident down here. We'll have to see what happened to Denotto. And again, I mentioned it last week during when it was me and Ellison in the booth for Bristol, that you don't want to start your playoffs on a bad foot. And unfortunately for Denotto, he might have just used his mulligan here this weekend.
Yeah, you see the field make their way on the pit road for the first of what should be a couple of pit stops in this race, and you see Sam Denotto pulling out out of the race here on lap number 18. But pit stops are the order of the day now. We'll see what shakes out on the exit, because everybody's made it into their stalls cleanly. We'll see what happens on the exit. Right side tire.
Looks like everybody's smooth stop so far.
Yeah, they're all taking 4 tires as well.
They're first.
Yeah. Oh, and Silver Fox has a bit of a slow. Yeah, Silver Fox has a bit of a slow stop. Martin's actually going to get out first. Silver Fox is now going to exit in about 10th place now. So not ideal, but at least he's still in the top 10. But he had led every lap of this race up to this point. Now he's going to find out quickly what it's like to dice his car in traffic.
We're going to have a lead change for the first time today, as it looks like Martin was the first one off pit road.
Oh, and we have Stephen Gale on pit road for an extended period as well. Maybe he was involved in this accident as well. So it looks like I was right. Stephen Gale was involved in this. He comes down. Oh, and he hooks the 77. Oh, that was a big shot into the turn 3
into the safer barrier.
For Sam Denotto, and his car just slides to a complete stop on the banking. We hope he's all right. But it looks like that 2 car just got into him in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that is not how Sam Denotto wanted to start his playoffs in the slightest.
Yeah, we'll get another look at it, but it looks like exactly what happened is that Denotto was running the bottom. It looked like the 2 Gale tried to tuck in behind him, and he just didn't anticipate how slow the 77 would be going into the corner, and he just right reared him, just hooked them, and it's unfortunate for Denotto because he took the lick that he did, and he's out of the race, and Gale's continuing, but I believe there was probably no ill will to that at all. It was just Gale tried to tuck him behind him. He didn't anticipate Denotto going as slow as he did, and he grabbed him in the quarter panel, and that was it.
Yeah, so Sam Denotto is our first retirement from this race. We're on lap 19 now, and I would expect the lights to go out on the pace car here when they cross the start-finish line, so I would expect we get a restart here in the next lap. So what's going to happen is J.D. Martin's going to lead us to the green flag. Finn Guy's up to 2nd now. And yes, the lights are out on the pace car. We will be going green next time by. Nick Ortiz runs 3rd, McMillan 4th, Bobo Jones, Dylan Young, then Vargas, Freeman, Braden Varga, who's made a nice charge up through the field up to the 9th spot, and Silver Fox, after that slow pit stop, lines up 10th.
You ready for the restart here, Martin? To bring him down here for first lead change we see, 2nd different leader. We'll see if it seemed like the being out front was a position to be in, the preferred spot to be in. We'll see if anybody see if they dice it up a little bit now that Silver Fox is back a little bit in traffic now.
Yeah, so It's going to be interesting to see what Martin can do. We haven't seen what he can do in clean air yet. And he has had a bit of a rough season. He missed the playoffs, of course, while his teammate made it in. And this is another team that's going to expand to 3 cars next year with the addition of Joshua Michaels. So Martin's looking to make himself stand out here, and hopefully it works, because this 66 is in need of a good run, as we're coming to the restart right here.
All right, here we go. It'll be 20 complete of 81. Martin will lead into the restart. See if anybody ducks out of line here, tries to make a move here into 1. Again, normal preferred lane is the high lane. I doubt it's really going to pay off for him, but we see Ortiz. I see Young popped out there. I think Freeman popped out there too in the 10 as Finn guy. Use that high lane, going to try to get a run here into 3 on Martin. McMillan going to try to dive to the bottom of Ortiz.
I think that's going to let the 91 get back clear, and he's going to get a big run down this front straightaway. He's going to try and dive to the inside of the 92. Nothing doing there, or is there? Because now he gets to the inside. We'll see if the 91 can do anything. Oh, and they'll make contact.
McMillan, nice save out of both of them.
What a save by McMillan and Ortiz to keep their positions. Not only to save... Yeah.
I was going to say, that's going to hurt the 21 now, because now he's got right front, or the left front fender damage, and that's going to hurt that car aerodynamically.
Yeah, but he's still hanging in there in 4th place. I don't see much damage on there, but maybe there's a fender rub that we're not seeing on the 21, as Ortiz continues on his merry way, trying to get by Jeffrey Finn guy, and that's the nomination for me for one of the saves of the year. It was amazing they didn't crash right there.
And honestly, what happened just there looked very, again, those guys saved it, but it looked very similar to what we've seen that brought out the yellow between the 2 and the 77. It looked like McMillan tried to duck to the inside of Ortiz, but Ortiz slowed up slower than McMillan was anticipating him, and he clipped him in the quarter panel there. And unfortunately, we'll have to see what kind of damage. I would expect it to affect McMillan more than Ortiz because of where it is on the race car, but we'll see. Both of them continued on so far, running 3rd and 4th still. So
yeah,
so far it seems like they got away with one.
Yeah, what's amazing to me, not only did they save their race cars, they kept their positions and all that. So impressive stuff from the 91 and the 21. These guys are seasoned veterans; they know what they're doing, but. Here comes Ortiz now trying to make a move on the 92 of Finn guy. He's going to try and get to the outside of the Motorcraft Ford, see if he can make a run at it. As we look further back now, Bobo Jones and Christian Vargas do battle now for 6th spot.
And there was one other factor, too, we could have pointed out about Ortiz and McMillan. They're both playoff drivers this year, and I think we just saw why they're both playoff drivers with those saves. So. Meanwhile, on the racetrack, Young trying to get the outside McMillan as Ortiz continues to try to work Finn guy. Meanwhile, J.D. Martin, kind of like the previous leader, Silver Fox, just kind of out here cruising at this point. Really hasn't had a challenge other than maybe a little duck on the initial restart, but he's kind of just sitting here cruising at this point.
Yeah, he's due for a good run in this 66 machine as Ortiz goes quite high on the racetrack, trying to get a lot of momentum down this back straightaway to try and generate a run on the 92, who's doing a very good job of playing defense here. It's simply a wonder to see the superstar cars on this track as Ortiz now gets underneath Finn guy for the 2nd spot. We'll see if he can complete the pass going into turn 1.
You see, I think that's a way to do it. I think 3 and 4, you can kind of work the inside, make a move, but you got to build so much momentum that by the time you get back to 1 and 2, you can clear the car on the outside. Otherwise, I think the car on the outside can keep that momentum through 1 and 2. As we see Ortiz, it looked like the momentum paid off for him. He did clear Finn guy, as McMillan is now going to try to build momentum. But unfortunately, he's working against both FBM cars as Young is up there behind his teammate, helping his teammate now.
Yeah, these two are almost in tandem trying to get their way past the 21 of McMillan. And Finn guy's got a little work to do to make his way into the championship hunt. Dylan Young's got a lot of work to do to try and catch points leader Devon Fair, who's currently not featuring in this race. That could very well change, of course. We're closing in on 50 laps to go, but it is still plenty of time for a lot to happen, as Young continues to push his team owner, trying to get by. Now he ducks underneath, tries to get under E21 as well.
And the other thing I just noticed is we got another car that's kind of jumped in the mix. I see the 19 back there behind Young running in the 6th position. Has jumped up into the fray and is kind of going to be factored into another one, as it looks like the field is starting to come back together, except for the top two. It looks now like Martin and Ortiz have pulled up a little bit of a gap between that fight for third. So I have to see if the field will accordion back again.
Got another caution, and it's for the 04 of Patrick Smith and the 98 of Brejhan Stojanovic. They're going to bring out the caution flag for the second time today on lap 30. And caution comes back out. The pace car pulls back out to collect J.D. Martin as the race leader. So I would expect, we saw on the first caution that everybody came to pit road for 4 fresh tires. I would expect the same here. Yes, they're all coming.
Martin gonna hang that left as well as the rest of the field. Bringing it down pit road, nice and smooth, nice and easy. Everybody trying not to make a mistake. Again, we have seen in the other series and other races, incidents on pit road, exiting and leaving. So you want to be nice and smooth, nice and careful, get to your pit stall.
So everybody makes it into their pits cleanly, like before. And Martin's the first one in. I would expect him to be the first one out as well. See, Davey's the last one to slide into his box. And yeah, Martin's already almost done, and he pulls out of his box, and he should easily win the race off pit road, although Ortiz gave him quite a good run at it.
Yeah, Ortiz, Finn Guy, McMillan, they all kind of stopped at about the same time as far as the crews, and there he comes off pit road. At least the top 4 come off pretty much the way they came on, So
you see Patrick Smith on the inside. He was running near the tail of the field anyway. And is he going to get a little help? Yep, from Vasquez. This time it's the opposite effect, where he gets hit in the right rear. And yeah, he just got slid up into the 98 and then in the wall. These cars should be able to continue. But, oh man, and Stephen Gale came real close to hitting the 04 as well. That could have ended both of their days.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Smith here, but again, I honestly think it's very similar to what we've already seen. It's almost as if the car on the outside either wants to either duck in or duck underneath the car on the inside and just doesn't anticipate the car on the inside slowing up as much as it does. And again, they made contact. In this case, I think that one was more similar to the incident we saw between Ortiz and McMillan earlier, where they saved it, but as opposed to the initial, what was the initial yellow between Gale and Denoda. But yeah, Martin leads again. The top 4 pretty much the top 5 remain the way they were before the pit stop. So
one thing I did notice though is that Braden Varga has slipped out of the top 10 entirely. He must have had a slow pit stop in the number 19, but there's still 2 Finish Line Motorsports Fords at the front of the field. Nick Ortiz in 2nd, Ricky Freeman Jr. in 6th. So they're going to have a strong presence here today. I have a feeling about that. There are 2 Finish Line cars in the playoffs, of course, the 91 of Ortiz, and then the 01 of Mark Davey, who's currently running in the 13th position. So they're putting on a strong challenge, but they're going to need to put on a strong challenge if they're going to challenge the Revolution teammates of Fair and Vargas.
Absolutely, and it's just going to be interesting to see how the rest of this race goes. Again, we've seen it seems like the leader. If the leader can get out front and get gone, it seems like the second place just has the challenge of trying to get by him. And again, with the middle lane, it seems like to be the preferred lane. If second place tries to dive going into 1 and 2, tries to move there, they lose their momentum, and suddenly they're fighting for their position, to hang on to their position versus trying to take the lead of the race. So we'll have to see if Martin can maintain this position over Ortiz and McMillan, and see who else maybe will try to get up here to challenge these guys.
Yep, so this is going to be our second restart of the race with J.D. Martin out in front. He has led since about lap 20 when James Silverfox lost the lead on pit road. He's still in this race. He's in 8th, but he's got some work to do to catch back up because J.D. Martin, once he got out in front, has been in solid command of it. But I would expect Ortiz to mount a challenge. He's looking for a big win here. He's looking for his first oval win in at least 2 years.
And he's proven that at least he can save his car. Great car control. We'll see if he can take that car control, see if we can get Martin here as we get ready for the restart. Lap 34 to 35. Martin going to bring him down nice and easy as there is the green. We'll see if anybody tries to duck on this restart.
So far so even. It looks like Victor Nunez in the 27 is the first one to duck out, but he's well outside the top 15. Diving it off now. Through turns 1 and 2, Martin keeps his solid lead, but Ortiz is there waiting for the right moment.
Ortiz got a little bit of a gap on McMillan on that previous restart. Looks like he's going to try to stay.
Oh, Martin's slowing. Martin's slowing. He's got a problem. Martin's heading for the pit lane. He must have a flat tire or something, a loose wheel maybe, something.
I was going to suspect that soon after the restart. I wonder if they had a loose wheel.
And there's AJ Jones in the pit lane. He's got some sort of mechanical problem under the hood of that 31. He might be done for the day. Oh, but for JD Martin, that's just a mistake you can't afford to make in a one-up superstar race. I'm sure they'll be debriefing that one at Robbers Racing. But Nick Ortiz now assumes the lead of this one.
I was going to say there for a second until Finn Guy took over that second spot from McMillan. We were going to have the guys running 1-2 that had that spectacular save earlier, but it looks like Finn Guy got around McMillan using that top lane as Martin comes back to the racetrack. So whatever it was, they've obviously fixed whatever, or they obviously were able to diagnose whatever it was and get back to the racetrack. But, man, that sucks for them. They're going to lose at least a lap. And, from the lead of the race, man, that sucks.
What a fall from grace from JD Martin. But he's not out of this race yet. If he can get some strategy played right, maybe he can get back into this thing. Who knows? But back up front, Nick Ortiz continues to lead. McMillan did lose second position to Finn Guy, and now he might lose third to the other FPM car, Dylan Young in the 29. This might be Young's most cohesive race in a few months. This is the first time in a while we've seen him consistently up at the top 10, top 5, and now I hate to be the bearer of bad news for the rest of the playoff drivers, but Devon Fair, our points leader, just jumped into the top 10 for the first time today.
And Fair, of course, had that absolute dominant performance in Bristol last week, en route to the win there. And if you're asking me, you start out the playoffs at such a great foot. If you can come out here and have another good run here, you're basically putting it on the field to say, hey, what are you going to do to beat me? And obviously, that's what we're seeing out of some of the playoff guys today that have been running up front. But it's like you got to do more than that if you're going to beat this 51 team with the way they've started this year's playoffs. Looking at, the dominant win at Bristol and looking at probably a top 10 finish here if they can get it up there.
Yeah, but if I'm Devon Fair, the last person I want to see leading this race right now is that 91 car, because he also had a strong run at Bristol. And I would fully expect if Ortiz holds on to win this race, he'd claw that deficit down to if Fair finishes just outside the top 10, he might even take those points lead. Who knows?
True, as you see Finn Guy trying to hold off his teammate here for second as McMillan looks like may start to battle Young here for third. And again, we can't count him out. The two-time and defending series champ Christian Vargas sitting there in the 5th position, quietly running in the top 5.
And remember, he won at Kentucky earlier this year. He knows how to get it done on the mile and a halves. So I would expect that 54 to come to life as this race progresses. And you see Silver Fox, he's made his way back up to just outside the top 5 in 6th. Nice recovery after a bit of a slow stop on the first cycle. And right behind him, the driver who started alongside him on the front row, Bobo Jones. And I would expect this is a big day for these guys because they want to prove that they're ready to race with the big dogs. And Bobo Jones, remember, is going to Ventum Motorsport next year. That's a big ride for him.
Well, it looked like they were I think we're going to be 3 wide there for second. McMillan, Finguy, and Young. And it looks like McMillan may get to be the beneficiary of it, go from basically 4th to 2nd. But it looks like he's still going to battle Finguy here out of 4. You know, it looks like he'll have the preferred line in 1 and 2, and I think McMillan will take it out of 2. But good racing. Honestly, good racing all around among this front group here. And, yeah, we saw the spectacular save earlier out of the both the 91 and 21. But, yeah, good racing all around from these guys to just continue to race side by side, continue to race hard, and giving the fans definitely something to cheer for here in Chicago.
Hard but fair racing, and that's what we like to see as McMillan dives to the inside now of Nick Ortiz to try and take the lead away. He's going to get the inside line going into turn 1. He's going to have a pretty shallow entry into the corner, and that's going to allow Ortiz to arc it on the middle groove, try and keep the lead, and he does.
Meanwhile, that slow momentum out of McMillan put Finguy right back alongside of him. I think Finguy is going to probably retake this 2nd position.
Oh, yeah, he will.
So come through forward with ease, and again, Young and Vargas just kind of hanging there, hanging with these 3.
So far, so good for Jeffrey Finguy, who had an okay day at Bristol. Of course, he was looking for more, but this is the run that he needs to kick off his playoffs in the right way. He has some good tracks for him coming up. We're headed to Michigan next, which I know he's looking forward to. So this is a big moment for the 92 machine and the 29 for good measure. Pretty much everybody's looking forward to get their playoffs started right, and Ortiz is doing a great job holding the lead as we go 3 wide for 3rd.
I think it's kind of funny right now. Of the top 5 cars, Vargas is the only one who doesn't have a 9, a 2, or a 1 in his car number. Because you got the 91 lead, and the 21 is in 2nd currently, 92 and 29. And Vargas in the 54 is sitting there running 5th. So, I mean, Vargas is trying to spoil the party among these front runners, too. Because, again, you got 3 Fords and 1 Chevrolet. So, trying to spoil the party among these top 4.
Yep, Vargas the first Toyota in 5th, Silver Fox the first Dodge in 6th. But McMillan continuing to try and chase down Ortiz for this race lead. And I would expect these guys to come in for another round of pit stops within the next 10 laps or so. They can go perhaps about 30 laps before they have to come in. So they'll only need to make 1 green flag pit stop in this race to make it to the end. My question is, when will it come, and who's going to get the jump on the field? Because tires do seem to matter here.
Yeah, but I will expect 2, because we saw 2 stops. We saw 2 caution flags, too, that it slowed the field where the field was able to pin into green. So I would expect them to try to go at least until the window opens for that final round of stops. But we'll see. I mean, as you said, tires appear to be a factor today, but we'll see. If you ask me, I think they're going to try to wait till the window opens, and then we might see a couple takers come on from there. And then once they start coming, it's like you don't want to be the one left out there hanging, because you'll probably get eaten up from that point. Yep. As we look on Fair here, Devon Fair now into the top 10. He's currently scored 9th on that last lap as he battles Freeman and Jones there for basically the 7th position.
And right behind him, Daniel Bouchard and regular season champion Emma Carter battling for the 10th position. Carter's had a solid start to the playoffs, of course helped by her regular season championship, but hoping for a return to former glory of sorts, because she's already had her playoff contending teammate fall out of the race, that being Sam Denotto. It's just a matter of picking your right moments to shine, and I think Emma Carter's looking to do just that as she lurks just outside the top 10. But back at the front of the field, here we go, Vargas on McMillan for 2nd.
I was just going to say, you talked about picking your right moment to shine. Vargas got around both FBM cars to move into the 3rd position. And as you see now on your screen, as you just mentioned, he's starting to challenge McMillan here for this 2nd position. So, again, there's a reason he's a 2-time series champion. There's a reason he's the defending series champion. He shows up when it matters, and you can't ever count him out.
No, you certainly cannot. And I want to give a shout out as well to this 16 car, Henry Thomas. He started 30th today, and he's cracked the top 10 on lap 53. An impressive showing from him. Of course, this is not the series he races for a championship in. He races full-time in the Nitro National Series. But any good run from this 16... He's actually attempting the weekend triple. He has done the weekend triple. He's done all 3 races this weekend and came within just a hair of winning that truck race.
And it's fun when you can have a track or an opportunity to run all 3 series on the track on a weekend. And it just seems by the end of the weekend that you pretty much feel like you got the experience to be able to go out in that 3rd series and prove your worth. And so far, Thomas really proven his worth as he's running in the 9th position. As meanwhile, the 2 FBM cars are back after Vargas. They've reeled back in, and at least looks like Young here is going to try to make an attempt to get the defending champ.
Yeah, and you see McMillan taking a very wide line through 1 and 2 to try and generate some momentum down the back straightaway. You're never really straight here at Chicagoland. You're always turning to some degree because of the backstretch having that slight arc to it, and of course the tri-oval on the front stretch and all 4 corners. But so not much room for these guys to relax on this racetrack. There's a lot of opportunities to make mistakes, but so far we've seen very few of them today.
But again, that's what makes Chicagoland at least unique from its sister track at Kansas, and I guess you could say the other sister track, Kentucky, is the fact that this back straightaway is curved. It's not straight. And so you're basically, you want a car that's going to handle the fact that it's going to be turning basically the entire way around the racetrack. And as we see, the good cars are the ones that can basically corner that good. And as we see, it's Ortiz out front. We saw Martin out front earlier until his issue. We saw Silver Fox out there for a little bit. And as we watch this battle for second again between McMillan and Vargas, it's just something we're going to have to watch, because it's the cars that corner the best are really the ones that are going to be able to maintain their position, to maintain their speeds.
And it's the ones that can hold the... It's ones that can get their right entry into the corner. If you enter on the bottom, you get this real shallow entry into the corner that these cars don't like. It makes you slow down more, and that's not what you need at a momentum track like Chicagoland. But these guys are doing a good job. The top 5 actually have stretched out to quite a big lead over 6th place Silver Fox. So it's Ortiz, McMillan, Vargas, then 2 Fingai Saitomi cars. This is going to be an intense battle for the win if it keeps up like this.
Yeah, actually, the way they run it, it's kind of humorous to look at this. The FPM cars, you got a red car and you got a blue car, and all they need is a white car. You have the red, white, blue, but meanwhile, they both have a great run, running 4th and 5th, but I'm sure Fingai would love to have both cars finish higher than where they're at, but I'm sure he's ecstatic as it is to have both cars running in the top 5.
Although I don't think anything's going to top their result in Iowa earlier this year, where they came home 1-2 in the race. But it's still a solid run for 2 teams that really need one to get back into the championship conversation. As we're closing in now on 20 laps to go, you see Henry Thomas, we talked about him earlier, he's making a charge. He's gone from 9th now to 6th, passing Silver Fox. So the 16's making his way to the front quickly.
And like I said, when you run 3 races at a track at a weekend, that lap time, that seat time, even though you may be running different cars, that seat time helps you in each car. The cars may be different, they may handle different, but seat time is nothing that can be. There's no substitute for seat time, and the more seat time you get, the more practice, the more laps, and it's nice to have that. Even veteran drivers that run 3 races in a weekend, it's nice to have that seat time and be able to learn just that little bit more that could help you on race stunts through a certain series and certain race.
Absolutely, yeah. Seat time is always good. As McMillan and Vargas continue to swap a few places, you see Aaron Hall looks like he's already made his pit stop, and Felix Anderson now comes down pit road. So here's the cycle. Green flag pit stops that is beginning now, and I would expect at least a couple of these guys to think about maybe coming down, try and get an undercut off on the fellas around them.
Well, we're under pretty much 20 to go here, so yeah, that makes sense that the window would be open. As here comes the 21 of McMillan. I see the 54 of Argus is going to come with them. So here come the actual lead group cars.
Devon Fair is coming with them. Lane Sanders.
That's fair. There was, I could see there was another car that came.
A lot of cars are actually coming. Yeah,
this is probably going to be like the first real big group of the lead group coming in here.
Yeah, Sanders and Crown also have the playoff drivers coming in. I would expect Ortiz to be not too far behind here.
Yeah, he's coming this time. You can see him fucking below the white line, and now the yellow line.
Yeah, but Silver Fox is staying out to lead another lap, so credit to him for picking up as whatever points he can. But I would expect he's going to pit this time by, because you don't want to stay out there too long, or else you'll risk losing a lot of ground to the guys with fresh tires behind you.
Yeah, it looks like it will be Silver Fox, and I believe Martin will be the other one that will be the last of the cycle to come. Again, Martin trying to recover from that loose wheel, unfortunately.
Yep. So right now, well, JD Martin's going to stay out a bit longer because he had the pit for that loose wheel. So he's going to try and stay out, hopefully get a caution here maybe. And we got one! How about that? Caution flies for the third time for a big crash involving Felix Anderson and Eric Monaco in the 86. A big crash in 3 and 4. This is going to shake up the running order in a big way.
Yeah, that may... Again, we'll have to wait to see how it cycles out as we got a car blowing up. I believe it's 37 blowing up.
Yep, that's Brandon Beal in the 37 who's lost the motor on that thing. I believe JD Martin got his lap back doing this.
I was just going to say, I think that the 66 may have gotten back on the lead lap.
And I think actually the car right behind him, Aaron Hall, is going to be leading this thing once we get back racing, because he stayed out as well.
So we'll let it cycle around here too, and again, it's the unfortunate thing. One man's misfortune is another person's good fortune, and it may have just been what was bad fortune for the cars that wrecked, maybe good fortune for JD Martin.
Yeah, now he comes to pit road. He doesn't have much of a choice in the matter. He's got to come in. Or actually, I think Aaron Hall had pitted much earlier than these guys, so he's got a little older tires, but he should be, I think, in a good position, unless those tires really come back to bite him in the closing stages, because we now got about 15 laps to go. Could he hold on to win this thing?
Well, actually, the way the running order is starting to sort out here, I think Martin may still be on the lead lap, though.
No, he absolutely will be still on the lead lap. So
that's still a good break for Martin.
Yeah, it's a big break for Martin, and it's one hell of a break for Aaron Hall as well. He'll take the lead of this thing. And will he be able to hold on to to get his first career win? It's hard to say with old tires, but he'll have Nick Ortiz hot on his bumper, and that's going to be big. Oh, and Bobo Jones with a lot of damage. He was running top 10 all day, and now he's got some significant damage that they're going to have to sort out. So, yes, that was the reason for the caution. Felix Anderson just overcooked it, got into Lane Sanders. Oh, and then Monaco. I don't know what the 86 was doing there.
The other car got caught up there.
Yeah, that was the 86 of Eric Monaco. That's just an unfortunate break for both those guys. I don't know if Monaco could have slowed down more to avoid that, but regardless, tough situation for some guys that were just trying to have a clean day.
I mean, we'll look at it again, but it looks like it's just another example of the car on the outside either trying to duck in behind the car on the inside, or I don't know what they're doing, and then not anticipating how slow as the car is on the inside. And then unfortunately, the follow-up wreck just get caught up after the fact.
Yeah, so it's an unfortunate break for Eric Monaco, who is out of the race, and we're honestly having Felix Anderson also out of the race as a result. And we actually have a few more retirements, because a couple cars have been dropping like flies in this race. Brandon Beal, of course, was out of the race as well. Cody Goforth in the number 4 machine had a suspension failure on the Royal Purple Toyota. And then Braden Varga, who we were talking about earlier, had something go wrong in his car, he's now out as well. So we're only going to have 35 cars still on this racetrack, 33 of which will be on the lead lap. And this is going to be an interesting restart when we get it. And we're going to get it next time because the lights are out on the pace car.
And we also have one car to the inside. Lap car, Stephen Gale will be to the inside on this restart.
We're actually going to have 2 lap cars because Ryan Vasquez is going to come up here as well.
So yeah, we'll have to see what this lap traffic is going to do. But as I was saying before we went to the replays, I'm looking at this 9 car right now, Silver Fox. Again, they had the slow stop initially that took him out of him leading the race. But currently, he's going to be the car on the freshest tires, furthest up. Again, I'd be interested to see what the tire difference does between, because we've seen what Ortiz car has been able to do today. I'm interested to see if Silver Fox was a little fresher tires than the guys around him. Granted, it's only about a couple of laps. We'll see if that tire difference make a difference. Can he actually get back to the front like he started the day?
Honestly, my eyes are going to be on this 07 car. Can he hold on for about 13, 12 more laps? Because he's got some pretty old tires on that thing. And I would not expect him, because we haven't seen this car up front all day. So we have not seen what it can do in clean air. We're about to find out, though, because the pace car's off. We're getting ready for the restart with 13 to go.
And from what we've seen, it seems like the leader has been able to hang on most of the time today. But again, we haven't seen the tire difference up front as we're back green now with 13 to go.
Yep, Hall gets a good launch. He sails him off into turns 1 and 2. Fair actually is the highest one of them. Nope, Finn Guy is in 7th spot. He's going to try and make his way past the lap car. Now Ortiz trying to get to the inside of the 07. Silver Fox trying to get underneath him. They're 3 wide for the lead. Not for much longer because Hall is starting to slip on those tires.
Yep, and there's the tire difference. Ortiz able to take the spot. Silver Fox to second. But I'm telling you to watch this 9. I know it's going to be tough sledding trying to make this pass because it seems like you're going to have to do it on the top lane and not really on the bottom. I'm telling you, I'm wondering if that 1 or 2 lap difference in tires may give Silver Fox a little bit of an advantage here against Ortiz. We'll find out. As meanwhile, Vargas is the one that's lost a couple spots now. As here comes our Bristol winner, Devon Fair, up now to 4th position. Right there on the back bumper of that 21 in McMillan. Going to see if he can try to take 3rd.
What a run from Devon Fair in the late stages. 11 laps to go now. And he's in prime position to get his 2nd top 5 of the playoffs and to maintain his points lead. As they run right now, it would be real close. I don't have the exact number, but it would be real close between Ortiz and Fair for the points lead if it ends like this. But I don't think it's going to end like this because Devon Fair is on a mission. He's powering around the outside of Jake McMillan to try and get the 3rd spot. I think this 51 could be a prime contender here as we now have 10 laps to go.
Well, the thing that's going to help Fair is this 9 car is really racy, and he wants to challenge this 91 for the lead. And that may be what pulls this 51 right back into the battle as here comes Fair to the fight.
Yep, coming around the outside as Silver Fox now tries to dive down the inside of Ortiz. Side by side for the lead through 3 and 4. Fair waiting patiently behind to try and see if these two come together at all. But Ortiz holds on for the lead now. And Fair, I would imagine, is going to try and get to Silver Fox's outside right here, and he does.
He does, and I think he's got the advantage now to come off turn 2 and try to get a run. It's 91. He may take a shot down here in turn 3, but I don't know if he's going to have quite the momentum going into 3. But he's definitely put it on to them as he's moved into the 2nd position, trying to see if he can go back-to-back to start these playoffs.
Wouldn't that be something for Devon Fair, who'd complained a lot about his performance in the regular season? He had some good finishes, but the wins eluded him. He got that win at Bristol last time out. Now he's looking for another one. But he's running out of time, and he's running out of laps, because Nick Ortiz is starting to set sail at the front of the field.
I wouldn't give it to Ortiz yet, though. We got a crowd back behind Fair, though. McMillan trying to hold on to the 3rd position, and there is that 16. We mentioned him already a couple of times today. And look at him running in the 3rd spot as he takes 3rd from McMillan. And I bet you right now Thomas is enjoying his run today, running there in the 3rd position now.
Absolutely. What a run from that 16 car. And that is the car Bobo Jones will be driving next year. So I'm sure from the back of the field, Bobo's got to be looking at this and thinking, that's a good run that I'm going to hope to replicate next year. But we are now coming to 6 laps to go, and Nick Ortiz has a fairly solid lead, but if Devon Fair keeps building that momentum that we've seen him do over the last few laps, this could be anybody's race.
And we've seen Ortiz has been up the front for most of the day, but the 2 cars behind him have been working their way through the field to get to this position. We'll have to see if Fair or even Thomas. Thomas is starting to reel back in these top 2 as well, so we may not be able to give it to Fair quite yet because this 16 is suddenly a factor.
Yeah, and it's been over 100 races since Henry Thomas has been the victory lane in the Superstar Series. And here comes Fair to the inside, trying to get the lead from Ortiz, diving it off into turn 1. He's got some help from the 16, but he had a shallow entry into the corner, and that is what's going to allow Nick Ortiz to keep the lead off of 2.
Well, Fair better watch out himself, because I'm telling you, this 16 is on a run right now. Look at this, as he now looks to the inside of Fair. I don't think he's going to have the run here for 3 and 4, but man, this 16 is definitely a factor now with 4 to go.
And look at Roberto Crown Jr. back there battling Vargas. We haven't mentioned him all day, but he's made his way up to the 7th position after starting 25th. A great run for that 81 to salvage something out of today. He'll come out of here with a top 10 most likely. Daniel Bouchard also having a solid run in the 73, while the FPM cars are starting to fade. But we're coming to 3 laps to go now, and Devon Fair is starting to fall back again. He could be running out of time.
I think what happened to Fair is he had this 16 get up behind him, and I think he just, that move he tried to pull on Ortiz, it's like he killed his momentum, and then, trying to build that momentum back, as we said, with the way this racetrack is, and I don't think he's been able to build back the momentum. I think Ortiz might be in the catbird seat here as long as nothing happens here as we come to 2 to go.
Ortiz is flying at the front. He has a win this season. It came in Mexico City, but he's looking for his first oval win since North Wilkesboro back in 2021. So Ortiz trying to hang on here. This would be his first mile, I believe. This would be his first 1.5-mile victory in the One Up Superstar Series. So
we may not give it to him yet because this 51 and the 16, again, granted, we got a lap and a half to go, but this 51 and the 16 have closed it back to the 91. Ortiz took a shallow line in 1 and 2, and he lost ground to these 2. I don't know. We'll see what happens here as we come to the white flag.
1 more lap to go from Chicagoland. It's 3 cars under a blanket. McMillan and Silver Fox lurk in the distance, but now Thomas takes a wide line through 1 and 2, trying to generate some momentum, but I think it's going to come down to the 91 and the 51. Fair's got one last chance to make a move. He goes down to the inside, in through 3 and 4 for the final time. It's going to be close, but I think Ortiz has got him covered because Fair had a shallow entry off of 4 for the final time. Nick Ortiz going to get his 2nd win of the year, a big win at Chicagoland for his 4th career win. And that is going to put him in a good position for the championship as we head off to Michigan. Devon Fair, he came just a little bit short in his bid for 2 in a row, but a first and a second in his first 2 races in the playoffs, that'll do wonders for his championship aspirations. He will keep the points lead in 2nd. Henry Thomas getting 27 spots today to come home 3rd. Great run for him, his best result in a while. Jake McMillan brings it home 4th. He was up front all day. And James Silverfox gets the first top 5 of his career from the pole in 5th. Crown 6th, Vargas 7th, Bouchard 8th, and then the 2 FPM cars of Finguy and Young bring it home in the top 10, just ahead of William Brock. But that was a close battle for the win, and it was all shaped up.
I was gonna say,
last caution.
We were all set there ready to give Ortiz it, and then literally just after it seemed like they took the 2 to go mark, Fair just suddenly had that great run. That's why I hate that I interrupted you a little bit on that, but man, Fair just suddenly I don't know where that momentum came from, but he made a charge there, and he almost was able to make something happen. But again, the bottom line, it seems like down in 3 and 4 was not as good as where Ortiz was running in the middle, and Ortiz was able to hold him off. But man, you got to tip your hat to the 16 team, though. What a great run out of that bunch to come home 3rd today, and I don't know what else you can say about that. That's a great run for that team.
Absolutely, and we will expect more wonders from the superstar drivers next time out in the Irish Hills of Michigan. So, from Brian Griffin and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Chicagoland Speedway. A great race was had here today. Congratulations to Nick Ortiz on the win. He's closed the deficit down to Devon Fair. It's just 7 points between the two as we head to Michigan next week.